What's going on, everybody? This is John J Gaming on the mic here, coming at you with a brand new episode of the FCS Dynasty here on NCAA 06, and we kick off the first round of the FCS playoffs, where we will take 24 teams, we will bring it down to just 16 that will fight for a national championship through this episode alone. So it's going to be some exciting playoff action. Make sure you tune in for the whole thing, and if you're excited for it as well, man, make sure you go ahead, smack that like button, hit that subscribe button as well if you do happen to be brand spanking new to the channel, as well as we will jump into our first game of the evening. We have number 17 seeded Central Michigan taking on the 16 seeded SMU Mustangs. Now SMU, they do get the ball to start this game, and how about starting off with a nice opening drive touchdown, taking it into the end zone. Brandon McCarty is just going to go ahead, hand off the football, and his tailback is going to do the rest of the work. Didn't even get a great pull from his offensive line. That's the insane part, but SMU takes a 7-0 lead as Watkins, he's going to respond in kind, somehow throwing that ball in a very tight window, and that is going to also be a touchdown for the Chippewas of Central Michigan. I mean, look at that double coverage. You really cannot do much better than that. Watkins just getting it through that tight window. You love to see it. But then an ensuing kickoff. Special teams, man. Let me tell you about special teams. It can play a critical role when we start to get into these teams that are, capable of going far into the FCS playoffs. And we're seeing that effect right now. Untouched. He's going to find his way into the end zone. Touchdown, Mustangs. SMU is going to go ahead and make it 14-7. That will be your score, as SMU looks to take control of this game early. We're still only halfway through the first quarter, and it looks like it could very well be an early rout for the Mustangs. 21-7 now being your score, and Watkins going to be relied upon in order to bring him back. Can he answer? Looking down the right-hand side, finds a receiver. He's going to find his way into the end zone as well. Ladies and gentlemen, we do have ourselves quite a shootout on our hands. Both quarterbacks, Brandon McCarty of SMU and Christian Watkins of the Chippewas, both are looking sharp in this game right now, as we will actually see our first turnover of the game. It's going to be intercepted by Maurice Coles, and it's a cold world out there in the secondary. That's going to be the 5th interception of the year for that strong safety. And Central Michigan now have a chance to tie the game. Watkins is going to try to take a shot. He does. Finds his receiver, and we got ourselves a tied ball game here. How about that for a gamble here in the Sin City? Threw that right where it needed to be, and that was even with Watkins facing some pressure from the backside as well. You can't really be mad at it, but we will go ahead and see this ball get punted away, but it's going to be fumbled on the ground there. And now SMU taking back over, looking to build upon this lead once again, allowing the Chippewas to get back in it. But McCarty, he is going to look calm and collected in the pocket, and he's going to throw an interception. I mean, no pressure there, you guys. What are we actually doing right now? That's crazy. Golden opportunity there by SMU, and they're going to fold the bag there, as that was Maurice Coles that got that interception. That's his second pick of the game, but that will not be enough, or at least it doesn't look like it's going to be enough, as SMU, they will get a free and out from their defense, and they will take a 10-point lead into the locker room after a rushing touchdown from Brandon McCarty. Now, jumping into the second half of action, Watkins trying to get back to work, throwing over the middle, trying to find his receiver who has multiple touchdown grabs, but he's going to be intercepted. Sean Bryant going to get his hands on the ball there. That's his second interception of the year. And it now sets up a golden opportunity once again for the Mustangs to pull away. They can only settle for a field goal. It keeps Central Michigan in the game. Next possession, Watkins facing some pressure, has to get rid of it, and it's thrown sooner than maybe Watkins wanted to go ahead and do. That was that pressure that was affecting that decision. If that was a clean pocket that he was working with, we probably would have seen him maybe throw this football away. That did not happen there, although SMU cannot capitalize. So it remains a 13-point game. Watkins looking over the middle of the field again. It's another turnover. And the SMU defense starting to really wake up here. We see 3 interceptions here in a quarter of a half. And it's looking good for SMU to make it into the second round of the FCS playoffs. Now, I was saying, maybe this team is a little bit overrated given they came in 7-4. But that's not going to matter, though, as now SMU certainly can put this football away now. 34-21, still your score late in the third quarter as McCarty's going to hand it off. We're going to see a rushing touchdown, number 3 for number 33. 20-point lead for SMU as they look to continue their strong performance. 20-point game. Watkins trying to run the option, tries to pitch it out, but it's going to be recovered. And not only is it going to be recovered, we are going to see might be a big boy touchdown on board. Central Michigan, man, just a bad day to have a bad day. Other than that first quarter, of course, they turned the ball over 5 times in this game. And if they, unless they find a way to, magically come back and win this game down by 27. So I do doubt it. The only question is here, does the Mustangs, do they manage to go ahead and get that 50 burger? McCarty wants that, and he's going to try to throw towards the end zone. It's going to be picked off. It will not be taken back to the crib. So a little bit of a bright spot here to end the season for the Chippewas. But of course, more victories do not count here in the FCS playoffs. And SMU will win this game by a final score of 48-21. So SMU, they will go ahead and move on to the second round of the FCS playoffs after this extremely convincing victory. So next round, we will go ahead and see them take on the number 1 team in all of college football. We will go ahead and see them take on San Diego State, the number 1 team in all the land. So that will be a fun second round matchup that I'll be watching out for. So the push to the FCS National Championship still continues with our second first round game of the episode. 24-seeded Chattanooga taking on the Wildcats of New Hampshire, who for much of season number 3, they were the number 1 team in college football, but an upset loss to Delaware moved them all the way down to number 9. And now here we are seeing them play here in the first round of the FCS playoffs. Now, Chattanooga, they are actually on a losing streak as well, losing the Big 12 championship game to Texas Southern, and mainly here because they did get that automatic bid due to the NCAA sanctions that have mainly hit that Big 12 conference. So we'll see if Chattanooga, they can play tough here. And early on, they do have a 3-0 lead, but Joe Thomas and this passing attack led by Carlos Montoya, it is simply built different. And Montoya, he is going to find his favorite receiver and take it all the way to the end zone. That will be the first touchdown here of this football game. Montoya looking like an NFL prospect for sure, but Chattanooga's also got a pretty good quarterback as well, as we'll go ahead and see him swinging up the middle of the field. Nice driving grab there in order to pick up some really good yardage. I mean, that was just a big time effort that we witnessed right there. And now Chattanooga, they're trying to make some things happen here in this football game, as now we'll go ahead and see Chattanooga trying to take the lead. Can they pull it off? As we'll see this team go to work now. First and goal from the 10-yard line. Jackson dropping back, facing a little bit of pressure, delivers a ball, a very good football, over the middle of the field, and that is going to be a touchdown, ladies and gentlemen. Chattanooga got a tie ball game here at the halftime. That's why the games are not decided on paper, but then Kevin Traina, one of the big-time freshman safeties, comes in, and you want to talk about a great time to get your first interception of your college career? You love to see that. And now we're talking about New Hampshire taking the lead before we go into the halftime locker room, and they just might be able to do it, as Joe Thomas is going to be located here once again. Only his second catch of the game, but he has over 100 yards in spite of that. So now, first and goal from the 2-yard line, as we'll see. Going to go ahead, run it up the middle of the field. It's going to be ran into the end zone. Touchdown, Wildcats! And New Hampshire takes the lead before we go into that halftime locker room. Or at least that's what we're thinking, unless some things shake out here in the last 30 seconds. Chattanooga trying to run out of the clock so that we can, go into the halftime locker room with a little bit of dignity. But Otis Grimp, the true freshman, he had some other ideas. He's going to take one back to the crib. And now it's a 24-10 lead at the half. Second half now. Montoya going back to work, throwing over to the right-hand side. Double coverage. But Montoya is going to get it right in there. That is a tight hold to run it through. Big pause. But either way, the Wildcats are going to be in the red zone now. Can they finish the drive? Montana looking to throw over the right-hand side, and it's going to be caught. Touchdown, Wildcats. And New Hampshire starting to show its dominance now, as Montoya is able to throw a rocket that only his receiver and his receiver alone is going to be able to be caught. So now we'll go ahead and see if, wait a minute now, Otis Grimp, he can't get a grip on the football, so maybe a little bit of life here as of yet for this Chattanooga squad, as Jackson looking to capitalize off the turnover. He throws it up into the end zone. It's going to be intercepted. Tyler Boyd is going to pick him off, and so that will end up being a touchback. That hurts a little bit for sure. Chattanooga, they desperately need that score in order to have a chance of making things competitive. Later on, we'll see a little bit of a wide receiver screen to the outside. That's just good execution on the offensive side of the ball. This is what it looks like when you play against, or you see a team that for much of season number 3 was ranked number 1 in the country. This is why they were ranked that high originally. As now, later on in the game, Chattanooga forced to go 3 and out. And it's not Otis Grimp that is going to make the fair catch. He was benched after the muffed kick and not really showing much effort in recovering that fumble, but it doesn't necessarily hurt him today. Chattanooga, they will get a couple of touchdowns here in the garbage time, but once we got into that second half, it seemed like the outcome was never in doubt. We will see New Hampshire win this football game 45-24, and they will move on to the next round to take on Utah State. So we've seen a couple of blowouts here in the start of the FCS playoffs. We'll see if that changes here, as we will now check out the 20-seeded Montana Grizzlies go play up against the number 13 seed Akron Zips. Now Akron, they did lose their last game, losing in the they lost the battle with the wagon wheel, so that prevented them from competing from a conference championship in the MAC. Meanwhile, Montana, they had a strong finish to their season. They were able to blow out, I believe it was Portland State in their regular season finale, and those style of points did ultimately leapfrog them and propel this program to their second FCS playoff appearance in this series as an at-large bid. But we'll see how they handle this Akron football team, as we'll start off. We get the backup quarterback in the game, Travis Slaughter, actually dealing with a hand injury, so definitely not at 100%, and that backup quarterback, he's going to make some big mistakes here early on, unfortunately. He's going to throw this ball up into coverage. It's going to be intercepted. I mean, not really a lot going on there. Not sure what's going on with that camera angle as well, but, I guess we're going to rock with it. Going to be a pick 6, though. It will be a pick 6. And that's how the first points of this game is going to be scored. Akron with a 7-0 lead, but this backup quarterback can do some things as well. He throws it up to his receiver. If he puts his receivers in one-on-one situations, give your guys a chance to make a play, but it might not be so bad for Montana after all, except there's another turnover. Montana losing the turnover battle early here, as that is going to be their second turnover already in this game. And if you're going to pull an upset here in the FCS playoffs, if you're going to win in the FCS playoffs, regardless of what your seed is, you got to be able to find ways to take care of the football. And that right there is how not to do just that. As offensively, if you look at the offensive yardage, it's pretty similar in this first quarter. The difference has been the turnover so far. We'll see if Montana can clean it up, though. Second quarter now. They do have one of the better defenses in the country, a top 10 defense. We'll see how we see this quarterback attacks it. As we'll go ahead, Terrence Jones, he's going to drop back, but he's going to be lit up like a Christmas tree, though, as he will be brought down in the backfield. That's going to be 3rd and long from the 40-yard line. On the fringes of field goal range, Jones wants it all, and he is going to get it all here as well. Touchdown, Akron. Make that 14-0, as his offensive line did a fantastic job of protecting him. And it's a 14-0 lead for the Zips. Later on, Montana, they don't turn the football over, but they do go 3-and-out. Mark Subar, one of the most dynamic players on this roster. He's going to get some punt return duties here and ends up taking that all the way to the crib. It's a touchdown for the Akron Zips. And now 21-0. We do see Travis Slaughterville come back in the game, and it's going to make an immediate difference, as we will see as soon as Travis Slaughter returns, they get back on the board, and now we might have ourselves a football game after all. Jumping into the second half, though, Akron still enjoying a 2-touchdown lead. They try to get a little cute with it, call a halfback pass, and it's going to backfire absolutely horribly, as that is going to be returned all the way back to the crib. Touchdown, Montana. And like I said, ladies and gentlemen, we got ourselves a football game now. Just a 1-score difference. Next possession, Jones looks over, but it's going to be intercepted. Next, again, it's Brian Vaughn that's going to get his first interception, not of the season. Oh no, that's his first interception of his career, right? So that, you love to see that kind of stuff coming big in the FCS playoffs. Slaughter with a chance to tie the game, but just couldn't get enough on that football. He had a couple of guys downfield that did beat the coverage. They had a step, but just couldn't put enough air under that football. And Akron able to move the ball downfield. They're going to get a field goal. And now the Montana Grizzlies going to be in some trouble now. 10-point game. Slaughter, does he have what it takes to bring his team back? It doesn't look like it. It's going to be another turnover here. It's going to be picked off. And Akron in a prime position to run this ball out and end the game. But that's not what we saw. While Akron does get a field goal up, it makes it 24-14. Slaughter still trying to lead his guys back, but he's going to take a sack here. Not only do they lose yards, but they also lose time on the clock. Trying to save those timeouts as much as possible, if they even have any. 3rd and 8. Slaughter looks to the left-hand side. He finds the tailback. He gets a keep look. He's going to be gone like a girl in a country song. Touchdown, Montana. So that will make it a field goal game after a successful extra point. But with all that said, everything comes down to this onside kick. If Akron recovers, this game is over. The onside kick attempt is going to be recovered by the Akron Zips, and this game is over. It was a great comeback attempt by Montana, down 21 early, but they found a way to fight through it all almost finishing the comeback. Just couldn't get that onside kick to go their way. And Akron, they will survive. And they will go and take on the champions of the Pac-10 Conference, North Dakota State, in the second round. The same conference that this Montana Grizzly squad also came from. So a tough challenge for Akron for sure. As now we move over to yet another first round playoff matchup. We are going to cover all the first round games here in this episode. We got Southeast Missouri State, the number 12 seed in this tournament, taking on the number 21 seeded UNLV Rebels, representing for, I believe it's the Mountain West Conference in this point. And that $1 million question, we know how legitimate that Red Hawks defense is. Can they score enough to win playoff games? Last year, that wasn't an issue. They were able to score 35, but their defense was a problem. They did fix that. So we'll see what this Red Hawks team is. Can they keep up with UNLV if it does end up going into a shootout? And you know how you can help your offense out? Some stuff on special teams. We'll see this opening kickoff here, and if I'm showing something on special teams, y'all already know it's about to go down. And oh boy, is it going down or what? Lonnie Scott is going to run it all the way into the end zone. Touchdown, Red Hawks. There's no flags, and we do see an injured UNLV player. It's Alan Branch. He's one of the starting corners who also happens to play in special teams coverage. So a great start that you're looking for if you're a Red Hawks guy, as Travis Johnson. He's feeling confident early. He's going to let it rip, but he is going to throw an interception here. Johnson, he has been doing a pretty good job of taking care of the football throughout the entire season. But that was just feeling a little bit too overconfident. That was overthrown by quite a few yards. And frankly, I wasn't sure what he was looking at either. So now UNLV starts with the football in plus territory and a chance to tie this game. As we'll see if UNLV can go to work. As Lowe, he's going to try to get lower than the defender, but Marcus Gray, he's going to line him up like a Christmas tree, and that will be brought down for a loss. So again, the Rebels went free and out in their first possession, and a 3rd and long against one of the top defenses in the country. Number 4 in the nation in terms of yards allowed per game. 3rd and long, Low dropping back, he wants the first down, and it's going to be intercepted. Picked off, and the Red Hawks will take back over. And let me tell you something right now, that defense is certainly coming as advertised right now. As we will see the Red Hawks take back over. We'll see if Travis Johnson can take a better care of the football, as they will march the football down the field here. But in a red zone situation, Johnson stays cool, calm, and collected, rolling to his right and finds a receiver. Touchdown, Red Hawks. And how about this throw here by Travis Johnson? That is not an easy throw to make whatsoever. It's been a solid season for him. 14 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. He wants touchdown number 15 right here. And while he won't get it, it's going to be a monumental gain for the Red Hawks. Finding Lonnie Scott downfield. He's been electric today as well. Following the huge catch downfield, the Red Hawks find themselves in the red zone. They are a solid red zone team as Travis wants to finish the job, finds his tight end. And his tight end is going to get it into the end zone. Touchdown, Southeast Missouri State. And them Red Hawks enjoying a 21-0 lead. Really putting to bed the expectations of this offense. Next drive, we see Travis Johnson just having his way today. If he's like this the entire FCS playoffs, look, I'm not going to say they're a national championship contender. I don't know if I would go that far. But when they're playing like this, they can play with anybody in the entire country. It's 28-0 at the half. UNLV just getting completely dominated right now. Below, he's going to throw an interception here as well, as that's going to go right into the hands of Kentrill. That is the true freshman, by the way, that came down with that grab, playing that center field position with absolute efficiency. And now, another chance for Travis Johnson to pad his stats, looking downfield, and it's caught! Mama, there goes that man! Touchdown, Southeast Missouri State! 35-0 is going to be your score. I did not see this coming. I mean, this was a big-time throw by Travis Johnson. It had to be perfect. It had to be right on the money. And it definitely was. And how about getting this running game involved? No! UNLV is going to recover the fumble. They're going to recover the fumble. So I thought that was going to be 42-0. And, we're simming out of this game a little bit earlier. Maybe not quite. UNLV is still showing a little bit of fight right now. They are still playing hard, even though they are being decimated on the scoreboard. However, the Rebels can't do anything about it, so they're going to go back to the throw. Downfield, Travis Johnson, right on the money. Touchdown, Redhawks. And they will win this game with ease, and they will get the golden opportunity to take on the defending national champions, Kent State, in the next episode. That will be their second round matchup. As we keep marching forward, we might see some new teams on the rise. We'll see if this is the case for North Carolina A&T State. They are the number 18 seed in this tournament, making their first FCS playoff appearance. They are taking on New Mexico State, who is also an at-large team, and they are the number 15 seed in this tournament. And it's going to be interesting to see which style of play prevails. New Mexico State, they like to go extremely fast. They have one of the best quarterbacks in the nation, Justin Ward. 40 touchdowns this year, 4,200 yards passing. That's not a typo. He is him. North Carolina State, however, they like to take care of the football a little bit more methodical on offense, but they're going to break out the toolbox early as we get a halfback pass, and Dante Randolph, the sophomore custom, is going to make the catch on the opposite end. That is a great job of selling the halfback toss. And the Aggies of North Carolina A&T, both teams are named the Aggies, so maybe we got a little bit of an Aggie Bowl here in this FCS playoffs. But we know how good New Mexico State is on offense. Joey Ward was not going to be, completely shut down in this game. It's just a matter of how much can he be contained. First, second and goal from the 1 yard line is New Mexico State looking for their first points of the game, and they're going to get it. Touchdown, New Mexico State. They will cut it down to just a 3-point game. Later on in ensuing kickoff, 1 minute left in this first half as they kick it back off to North Carolina A&T. It looks like it's going to be this tailback who's going to find some space. He's got a passing touchdown, and he's going to have something on special teams here as well, as that is taken all the way to the crib, and he is going to high step it. North Carolina A&T, first FCS playoff appearance. It doesn't look like it. They're playing extremely well right now. A 17-7 lead at the end of the first half. But then we jump into that second half now. Joey Ward looking to show why he is him, why he's one of the best quarterbacks in the country. He's going to throw a slant pattern over the middle of the field. Aggies sent the blitz, and they got burned by it, and they got burnt by it badly. So here comes New Mexico State now, trying to rally themselves. Ward drops back, looks over the middle, finds his star receiver, and now Cunningham has New Mexico State in plus territory. They haven't taken the lead yet today. Does that change here? 2nd and 10 from the 39-yard line. Ward again dropping back. He's got a clean pocket. Looks over the right-hand side, and it's going to be caught. Cunningham gets it into the end zone. Touchdown, Aggies. And it's going to be a 1-point lead for New Mexico State. But North Carolina, can they find a way to rally? They do go 3 and out, so that does mean New Mexico State is back out on the field. A chance to seal the deal, but that is also going to be intercepted as well. An exciting game all around, but it looks like North Carolina A&T They couldn't get anything going on the last couple of drives, and that will be the difference. New Mexico State, they will survive against the 18-seeded North Carolina A&T State Aggies. This is a good program that has a bright future. Smoke James is currently waiting in the wings, and he has a lot of hype around him in North Carolina A&T circles. But for now, they will have to accept this first-round exit, while New Mexico State will advance to the second round to take on Rice in that second-round matchup. So we take a look now at what Delaware and Idaho did, as they actually played at around the same time as our matchup between North Carolina A&T and New Mexico State. We got ourselves a competitive game. Idaho was able to top off Delaware. 35-21 was going to be your final score. It was only 21-14 going to that final quarter, but Idaho, with a slightly more talented team than what the Delaware Blue Hens were able to field this season, they pull away in the fourth quarter, and they do so off of their tailback, who ends up with nearly 100 yards and 3 touchdowns. However, that being said, Horn from Delaware had a great game today. He ends up with 10 tackles, 6 TFLs, 3 sacks, then also a forced fumble and a fumble recovery. So with that, it was a great effort by Delaware. They will end up getting eliminated by Idaho, and we will see them in the second round of the FCS playoffs. They will go ahead and take on the Temple Owls in that round of 16. So we haven't seen any upset yet here in the FCS Dynasty, or not in the Dynasty obviously, but in this playoffs. But we'll see if that changes here, as we'll now see 19-seeded Eastern Carolina take on number 14-seeded Eastern Kentucky, as the Colonels are making their first FCS playoff appearance in this series. But it's a tough draw, as Eastern Carolina, they just came off a loss in the Conference USA Championship to Rice. They were in the top 8, and they were punished heavily in the AP poll because of a 40-point loss. So we'll see what Chad James has. We'll see what this Eastern Kentucky team has. Or will we see our first upset in this series? Now, that being said, Eastern Kentucky, they do get off to a really solid start to begin this game. They're up 6-0 here right now, but then we see this run on the outside. We see a punt return for a touchdown. And if you're Eastern Kentucky, this is exactly how you want to start. Up 13-0 in the first quarter. But we know Eastern Carolina, they will not be held down forever. But what about that hit, though? Richard Spencer just came flying in and absolutely lit him up like a Christmas tree. And now it's 3rd and long. Fisher dropping back. He's going to look to the right-hand side, and somehow that is caught. I have no idea how he came down with that catch. That was tight coverage, and he still hang on to it anyways. So it's a fresh set of downs now for Eastern Carolina as they go with the halfback pass. That is actually the second time that we see that pass hit in this episode. We also seen one of those hit. I believe it was in the, I want to say it was the Montana Akron game, or it was the UNLV South. No, it was North Carolina A&T. What am I talking about? I'm losing my mind right now. But Eastern Carolina, they are going to get a touchdown, so it does get it back to a 1-score game. And then Chad James, he's going to get lit up like a Christmas tree himself. Oh, he took a shot. So now, 3rd and long. Let's see if Eastern Kentucky can pick up this first down. James under center. He's got max protection. He wants to take a shot downfield, and it was in triple coverage. So it's going to be intercepted, and it will end up being caught. Touchdown, Pirates. Eastern Carolina takes it all the way back to the crib, and we got ourselves a 1-point game all of a sudden, with the Pirates taking that lead. Later on in the first half, we see Eastern Carolina tack on another field goal, so a 4-point deficit that Eastern Kentucky is facing, as James will again drop back and throw, looks over the middle, wants to test that secondary again. I don't think this is a secondary that you want to test today, because they are all over it. Second interception of the ball game. And now here come the Pirates with yet another plus field position start to the drive. I mean, I don't know what he was thinking there. He just threw it up and just hoped for the best. Thankfully, they do get out of the first half with just a one-score game. But, big caveat, Pirates start with the ball to start the second half. And Fisher, he really starts to feel himself. How about the ability to climb the pocket and deliver a great ball in spite of the pressure that was all around in the pocket? Most quarterbacks are not capable of doing that, especially down here at the FCS level. But look at this. Fisher saw an open pocket within the quarterback pocket and delivered a great football. And now Eastern Carolina, they are simply running away with it right now. James looking to his right. He wants to throw it downfield, and it's going to be intercepted. Picked off once again. And it will be the third interception that Chad James is going to throw in this football game. Oh, no. Oh, no, 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 no. That is not what you want right now. After a 13-0 lead initially for Eastern Kentucky, the Pirates have responded with 27 unanswered points. This could balloon up to 30. Looking over the middle, and it's going to be caught. Touchdown, Pirates. 34 unanswered points since the 2-touchdown lead by the Colonels. And now it's going to be all passing all the time. James looks left. He's going to be cut off again. Another interception. 4 interceptions thrown by Chad James, and he is simply shrinking under the magnitude of this stage. Is the FCS playoff spotlight too bright on Chad James? It certainly looks like it right now. Matter of fact, he gets benched. So the backup quarterback comes into the game. He's going to try the same thing, but surprisingly gets more success here, as that's going to be caught inside the 10-yard line. That is Peyton McLeod that burnt the defense. He now has almost 150 yards receiving. He's been a bright spot in what has been a rough day for this offense so far. But can they finish the drive? They have been 2 for 2, but have not gotten to the end zone yet. First and goal from the 10, looks over to the tight end. It's McFarland, and McFarland is going to scoot his way into the end zone. Touchdown, Colonels. It helps bring down the deficit just a little bit, but that, of course, will be too little too late, as Eastern Carolina, they will win this game by a final score of 44-23, and that's simply experience was the difference. Eastern Carolina, this is their 3rd playoff appearance. Eastern Kentucky has never been to the FCS playoffs. One team looked like they've been here before, and one team didn't. That was the difference. So, learning opportunity for Eastern Kentucky. I'm sure they will be back. They got a really good young defensive core, but a tough pill to swallow for this year. So for the final FCS playoff game here in round number 1, we have the Ivy League champions, the Yale Bulldogs, taking on the Eastern Illinois Panthers, as we will see if Yale can also maintain the good playoff history for the Ivy League. We did see Brown make it to the second round last year, even though they were a 24 seed. Yale, they come in a little bit higher than last year, or than the last 2 Ivy League champs, which does happen to be Brown. They come in as the number 22 seed in this tournament, and we'll see if Yale has what it takes to contain Ralph Rags. You want to talk about a rags to riches story? He's been having a breakout year so far, as John Robinson, he's going to start by throwing the ball over the middle, relying on that passing game early, but Yale's defense, at least early on here, is going to show up, as Brandon Robinson gets his 3rd interception of the year. Looks like it might have been tipped thanks to the pressure. And now Yale with a chance to score first. Abrams looks to the left-hand side, drops it right in the bucket. And we're talking about 1st and goal inside the 10-yard line. That's a post corner route that we just saw. Very well ran. And Yale is going to punch it into the end zone. Touchdown, Bulldogs. And Yale will go ahead and make this a 7-0 lead early. The Ivy League champs are hanging tough with this program from Eastern Illinois. That being said, though, the Panthers do get a kick punt return opportunity for Ralph Ruggs, but he fumbles it. Yale is going to recover, and here comes the Bulldogs. If they go pull the upset, they got to score here. Abrams over the left-hand side, but it's going to be intercepted right back. Oh, that is a critical mistake that we just witnessed there. You had a chance to really give your team belief. You have to go put points on the board, and they fail to do that. So now, Robinson takes over, looking over the middle of the field, trying to get it out. But Darryl Robinson is going to pick him off. Another turnover here for Eastern Illinois, who has had an extraordinarily sloppy first half right now. That is going to be 3 turnovers just in the first half alone. And yet Yale, they still can't capitalize. So now here's Eastern Illinois with the football again. John Robinson, he's going to throw it up. And now it's turning into a foot race. One man left to beat, and it's going to be brought down at the 2-yard line. Literally, that is going to be a touchdown saving tackle. But Eastern Illinois with their best chance all day to put points on the board for the very first time in their matchup against Yale. 2nd and goal from the 2-yard line. Still got some time to play. Going to the running game. Went in down, and the Panthers will be able to punch it in. We got a touchdown for Eastern Illinois. But we go into the halftime locker room only tied at 7. It's still a competitive game. And when the game gets close, you got to put it in the hands of your stars. Ralph Raggs, he's certainly one of those stars for Eastern Illinois. Takes it down the sideline. He's got some space. Nobody on the Yale team athletic enough to catch up, and he is going to be gone like a girl in a country song, as that will be the 18th career touchdown for Ralph Raggs in his FCS career. And now we see the Panthers take over. Robinson trying to go back to Ralph Raggs, but that's going to be intercepted. Yale is going to take this all the way to the end zone. Touchdown, Bulldogs. Hang on a minute. Don't you sleep on Yale yet. The Cinderella story. Are we seeing one fold right before our eyes? As it's now back to being a tie ball game. 14 all. Next position for Eastern Illinois. It's going to be a play action. Robinson in max protection. He's going to look to the left-hand side. Going to get it out to the fullback. And he's going to rumble. And he's going to stumble his way across the 10-yard line. Nice job there by John Robinson to dump it off in the flat and just allow your receivers to make the first down for you. Can they pick up this 3rd down conversion, though? For you play later, they have struggled on 3rd down today. Robinson is going to line up under center. He's going to drop back. Yale sends the blitz, gets it out to the receiver, and that is going to be in the end zone. Touchdown, Panthers, as Eastern Illinois makes it a 21-14 lead. Nice job finding a spot and just, again, allowing your receivers to take care of the rest. And that is the part where we start to see Yale fall apart here. I mean, Ralph Raggs gets the football here. How many times are they going to learn not to put the football in his hands? At least not willingly. Raggs is going to get his 3rd touchdown of the game. No, not 3rd, but 2nd. He's still having a great day regardless, even though I forgot how to count, apparently. And then on the defensive end, Adam Abrams, he's going to throw a touchdown. He's done a good job taking care of football all year. That is why Yale made it to the FCS playoffs in the first place. But a 35-14 lead as Abrams drops back. He's going to look to the right-hand side. He's going to go ahead. He's going to pick up some yards downfield. There's going to be a fumble on the ground. And that is just a massive... They're not getting any breaks right now. Yale really needed that. They needed that big gain downfield. Abrams put it where it needed to be. It's a good decision, but just his teammates aren't ready for the FCS playoff stage. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. As now, Robinson looks over to the left-hand side. He's going to get it into the air, and it's going to be caught once again by Ralph Raggs. Double coverage? It don't even matter right now, man. Huge play. As we get into the 4th quarter now, this could very well be a formality. Robinson drops back. He finds Ralph Raggs again. And how about a fan of that 10 toes down movement? That's his 5th catch of the game so far. on top of his 2 special teams touchdowns. He almost has 100 yards receiving. We'll see if they can put him over the edge here as Robinson gonna roll to his right. He's gonna throw across his body and still almost completed that pass. I mean, Yale, give them credit, made the hole small enough to where, Robinson had to be absolutely perfect and he missed. But still, 1st and goal from the 1. Robinson, he's gonna have his choice of who he wants. He's gonna go back to Ralph Rags. So that will give him 100 yards here on the afternoon here in the FCS playoffs. And Eastern Illinois makes this lead even bigger. Now we're talking about a 42-14 going to be your score as of right now. And in desperation, Yale's going to try to throw a halfback pass. That's just not going to work either. And Eastern Illinois, another chance. This was a close game. This was literally just 7-7 at halftime. And now look what the score is now. Just absolute annihilation. Eastern Illinois will take care of business. They will go ahead and win 45-21. That is going to be your final score. The game certainly not as close as what the score says. Yale did get a garbage time score up on the board, that for sure. So how about an exciting start to FCS playoff action as we've seen 24 teams get whittled down to 16. In next episode, that list gets brought down even further, going from 16 teams all the way down to just 8 teams in the next episode that will be competing for that national championship. But I'll leave the second round of the FCS playoffs for that next time that we come out with some FCX action here on the channel. But if you enjoyed today's episode, make sure you go ahead, smack that like button for me, and then hit that subscribe button if you happen to be brand new to the channel as well. This is John Chick Gaming on the mic signing off, but I'm hoping you're all out there having a good one. Take care, everybody.